What if the way that you talk to art clients is a total turnoff? And you probably don't know about these little mistakes that you're probably making right now that tell clients that they shouldn't work with you. But today, I'm going to tell you all of them. So to kick this off, I want to let you know that this is the most common topic that I tend to have in my one-on-one art mentorships. And I tend to analyze a lot of conversations, help artists figure out how to go ahead and converse with clients better, how to go ahead and sell themselves better, and then most importantly is how to go ahead and maintain three major things. And there are only three things that you need to do in order to sell yourself to a client once they go ahead and they start to have a conversation with you. And by the way, if you've never met me before, my name is Dr. Sean and welcome to the Art Mentor. And so the three things that you need to worry about are this. First and foremost, you need to maintain and sustain yourself as an authority in your field. I want to remind you that somebody is reaching out to you as an artistic professional. And so you need to never disgrace that, like I will give you examples of. Number two is that you need to go ahead and always maintain the power position in every conversation. And so this is going to probably be the biggest issue that a lot of artists do. And then number three is your status maintenance. That basically means that we need to go ahead and raise your status so that you don't come off like somebody who is just begging for a little bit of something instead of getting what you want and you deserve. And so let me just walk you through all of the things that most artists have a lot of trouble with once they enter a conversation with the client. And I've come up with some very clever names just to help kind of tie this all together and put a neat little bow on it. Let's go. Starting us off, I'm going to say that this is one of the worst offenders that's going to immediately lower your status. And this is going to be what I call the used car salesman, because everything that you are going to say to them is going to make them think about the pricing, okay? And so just some examples here. First and foremost, if you are using a commission sheet, you are immediately degrading all three of your components. You have low authority, you have low professionalism, and you have a very, very low status. People are just window shopping you, and they're obviously gonna go ahead and pick the cheapest option, and that might not be you. And the other thing is that once you do enter a conversation with a client, never, ever use the word price. Don't use the word fee. And I know that you're like, Sean, how do I do this then? Let me just walk you through. It's really not that hard, y'all. One of the first things is that use the word rate. Rate is a much higher status, higher authority level word that you want to use. You can also say, I can offer you this at this amount. Also, use the word quote. Don't say, so that I can get you a price, can you please tell me about your work? Tell me about your idea so I can give you a price. Don't say that. Say, I want to give you an informed quote. So can you tell me a little bit about your project? But here's the thing. The faster that you make a client think about their price tag, the faster of a possibility that they are just going to leave you or ghost you. Don't do that. Moving on. I know that you're guilty of this. I know that you have been guilty of this in the past, or you're guilty of this right now. And as soon as that client starts talking to you, you get that DM, you're so excited, the blood is pumping, your heart is boom, 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 boom. Yes, this could be the one. This might be your first client. You become an info vomiter. And what is that? This is the type of person who, as soon as you go ahead, you have a few exchanges, and we'll talk about another concern surrounding this, and you vomit out everything they need to know. Hey, by the way, it'll be this amount if you want to do this, and I'll go ahead and it'll be done in about this time frame right here. And by the way, I can also do split payments. If you can't do half and half, I can do thirds, I can do fourths, I can do fifths. I go ahead and give you a mortgage over a lifetime here. Oh my God, like you just threw the entire kitchen sink at that client. Why don't you just go ahead and tell them your mother's maiden name and your social security number while you're at it too? And so what's the problem here is that you think that this is necessary information. You think that this is how you're supposed to offer it all, but it's not. So my friend, here's where I want to steer you on this one. This makes you come off like a very low quality, low status salesman. And again, that degrades your power position in there too. You're coming off desperate. So here are a few popular concerns. Number one, don't volunteer right away that you do split payments. Let them decide that. Let them ask that question. Or if you sense hesitation, offer that at that point. But you need to let them be the ones to lead that. And then before you ever slap out a price, for goodness sake, please have these conversations. That should be the last thing, not the first thing that you go ahead and you start with. Also, too, with your timeline, ask them this. Hey, do you have a specific timeline in mind for this one that I should know about? Or are you more flexible? Let them tell you that information, and then you can respond back after they've agreed to pricing exactly what your time frame would be. That is the appropriate time to have a conversation, not all at once. Are you guilty of this? Because this is the most popular issue that I see all the time. Next, I want to tell you about this one, and I see this all the time because once you go ahead and you actually do get somebody to agree to work with you, you're really excited for that one, and you might also be a little bit afraid of losing them. Have you ever felt that? And so that's why this one is called the creative coward. And so this is the type of person who, as soon as you do enter into some type of binding agreement with that client, you just lost your spine. You lost your creative backbone. And so as the client is suggesting things to do or alterations to be made, or explaining their vision to you or clarifying some of the details, all of a sudden, you just want to make them happy. All you want to do is just do what they do, even though you know, because you're the professional here, your version is going to be best. And this is tough. But one of the things I want to, again, help you with here is to maintain your authority level, okay? Let me just put this out there. This person, whoever they are, wherever they're from, whatever amount that they pay, they're paying you to be a professional in your field. And so therefore, it is your duty and your obligation to make sure that you provide your professional insights. If they're providing you with information that you know will not make the artwork look good, you should at least let them know it. There's a kind way to do this. Hey, I see where you're going with this one, but have you considered this? Or, okay, I appreciate your vision. However, though, these are going to be the problems. This is something that you can do and how to tackle this anywhere between a private commission all the way up to an art director. It's all about how you say it. And what you want to do is you want to acknowledge them, but then also provide them with some concerns in a nice, professional way. But my friend, do not lean into being a creative coward, because that is not your place here. Be bold and please help them out. Now, will they always take it? No. But at least you tried there and you've done your duty. Now, want to go ahead and frame this one. You're a nice person, especially when you encounter this issue. And this is the type of person that I have deemed the permission prince. The permission prince is constantly seeking the approval of every little thing before they move on. And this is also the type of person that sends way too many updates. Like if your time frame is 3 to 4 weeks for an artwork, you're sending them multiple artworks and multiple different submissions every single week for them to approve. Y'all, this is such a huge degrade of your power position because you are coming off weak. It's lowering your status and it cheapens your entire experience. You're also putting your clients at a far higher authority level than you are. And yes, again, framing it correctly, you have a kind soul. You want to make them happy. It's not such to like a toxic level like we'll talk about in a minute here, but you also have a problem with just moving ahead with things in the direction that you had already agreed upon. So like this might be, for example, is that you go ahead and you do a little thing and you send an update. Oh, hey, how's this? And then you do this little part up over here. Hey, what do you think about that? Oh, you did this character's face. Hey, what do you think about that? Let me just go ahead and put this plainly for you. The more times that you show an artwork in progress to a client, the more opportunities you're giving them to go ahead and make your life hell, because you are going to get riddled really quickly with a lot of feedback that you probably don't like, and also probably a lot of revisions too. You don't want that either, do you? So how do I recommend this permission prince dethrone themselves? Very simply, go ahead and just commit to less updates, less check-ins. For me personally, if I'm doing an artwork, my typical time frame, depending on complexity, is somewhere between 3 and 6 weeks. I give them an update once a week. And in my updates, I tell them exactly what I've done and where I'm going so that I don't get bad feedback. Hey, just so you know, I went ahead and I worked on the background. You can see this has progressed a lot. For next week, I'm going to start to work on the character. See how I did that? That's how you want to avoid being the permission prince that constantly needs someone else's approval. Next, I'm going to talk to you about, again, another very nice quality about you that unfortunately you're getting taken advantage of, all right? And as we move into this one, I also want to let you know that I go ahead and I put out content like this for you every single week, really actionable, solid stuff that honestly nobody else tells you about. And if you're down for getting more of this, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe because I'm here for you all the time on that. And if this is helping you, you know some artists that need to hear this, please share it with them and hype this video so that they get to see it too. And so this next one, I've done this before, and I've known a lot of artists at all price points that do this, and I call this person the pleasure addict. And so this is the type of artist who, when they get asked to do something, yes, master. Oh, can you do this? Yes, I can. Oh, can you also do that? You know that thing that we talked about 3 weeks ago and I approved? Can we just change that whole thing? Yes, master, I will. Do you see the problem here? And so just to make it obvious, the pleasure addict is bending over backwards to accommodate all of the client's requests all of the time because you're a nice person, but also, it's not just that. I wish it was, but it's also because you're afraid of losing the client. And so this is highly degrading your power position. It's degrading your authority level, and it's also lowering your status. And those are all big, big problems for you. So, my friend, let me just kind of encourage you. Once a client has entered into this phase of actually working with you, you need to understand that they are committed to you, you're committed to them, and it is perfectly fine and okay to correct them once they start to get out of line. If they start to ask you for way too many revisions, and it's not your fault, like you actually read the spec and you actually did the thing that they asked you to do, and then they change their mind, that is okay for you to go ahead and ask them for an additional charge. Oh, hey, look, we agreed on this 2 weeks ago, and you said you liked it, and now you don't. If you want me to adjust that, it's gonna take me over an hour, I'm gonna charge you. My general rule is that I will be happy to go ahead and do a minor revision if it's within an hour. But if it starts to exceed an hour, and if there are too many of them, then yes, it will incur an additional fee. And that's okay. You don't have to feel bad about asking that because that's your time, not theirs. So there's a delicate balance, my friend, between you wanting to make the client happy and then you just being a pushover. Beware of that. Next, want to go ahead and bring up this issue, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell you exactly what this is. I call this person William Won't Tell. This is the type of person who every single time that they have a concern, every single time that they have an update, every single time that they have a conversation, the William Won't Tell artist is the person that always has to ask questions, and they come off really meek. And this, again, degrades your status. It degrades your power position within any type of a conversation, either before, during, or after. And so this might take these forms. Every single time that you send an update and you're like, is this okay? Or you're explaining something and you're like, well, you know what I mean? It's kind of like this. Does that make sense? And listen, you're mostly having text-based conversations with people. They don't read your tone, but the way I just said it is exactly how you come on. If every single time that you enter into a conversation, however major or minor that's going to be, if it's about revisions, if it's about your artwork, if it's about an update, or even if it's just during negotiations, the issue is this: you need to be assertive, my friend. Listen, one of the worst ways that you offend is that the William Won't Tell comes out all the time whenever you send an update and you go, do you like that? What do you think about this? Let me know if you don't like this or if there's anything that you want to change. Don't come off like that. The way that I always communicate with my clients is I say this. At the end of my blurb, I tell them, again, exactly what I did that week, exactly where I'm going the next week, and then I end with this one. I'm really enjoying the way that this is coming out, and I really look forward to hearing your thoughts. See how I did that? I let them know, first off, I conveyed a lot of authority in that. I let them know that I'm very excited about their work, and I'm literally telling them that I want to hear from them. Don't be afraid to be assertive, my friend, because that is how you're going to continue to get more clients. And this is also the type of person that generally clients don't want to return back to. So watch out for that. Moving on, I have kind of a funny story about this one. And let me just ask you, what do you do when you either get turned down by a client, or what if you get ghosted by them too? You're having a conversation, and all of a sudden, nothing else, right? Or here's another one too. What if you get told, let me think about that? What do you do? How do you handle that? And now a newcomer has entered the chat, and I call this person the Desperate Dan. And so this is the type of artist who, when they get told that they need to think about it, or that they get ghosted, they're not getting any more replies. And this can be a new client, it can be an existing client. And what do you do? Naturally, you probably panic, because that's the logical thing to do, right? And you start blasting them with messages. You send them 1 follow-up, you send them 2 follow-ups, you send them 3 follow-ups. Maybe you try to incentivize it. Hey, I know we had this conversation, and guess what? I'm now running a major deal here, and I can give you 30% off. So it was gonna be this, now it's gonna be that. What are you doing? You're coming off desperate. You reek of it, my friend. Listen, if that client did not go ahead and say anything to you then, it's pretty likely that they're just not going to go with you. And I hate to be brutally honest with you about that, but that is the reality of it. And so I have kind of a funny story about this one. So I once had this client, and she was really happy with my work. And I did 1 work for her, I did a 2nd work for her, and in the middle of the 2nd work, she already was talking to me about the 3rd work. And so naturally, I was very excited. So I handed her over, I emailed her, gave her that artwork, and I asked her, hey, when would you like to get started? Because usually she's pretty prompt with that. She was like, literally like, hand her the artwork, get money again. But that didn't happen this time. And I was very curious. I was like, okay, what happened here? So I sent a follow-up message. Nothing. A week later, I sent them an email, and I said, hey, just reaching out, really excited to get started on the next one. Let me know what's up. Nothing. Then naturally, I sent another message to them. We had been communicating on DeviantArt. Nothing. That's very strange, huh? And I thought to myself, well, that's really weird. Well, maybe something happened to them. So, like a normal sane person, I went ahead onto their DeviantArt profile, and then I found their social media accounts. And I messaged them on those too. And then nothing happened. And I was like explaining to my wife all this, and she was like, Sean, you're being weird. You're being a stalker. And I was like, whoa, I never even thought about that. I was just thinking to myself, well, maybe this person just got their account hacked, it got lost, maybe they turned off notifications by accident. And so here's kind of my greatest advice to you, friend. Go ahead, send 1 follow-up. That's it, 1 follow-up. And in that conversation, don't come off desperate. Say something effective like, hey, I really loved our conversation. Can we go ahead and can we pick it up exactly where we left off? Or, hey, how about that project? It sounded really exciting. I'd love to talk to you more about it. Do it once. And here's the rule. If they don't answer back, that is your answer. Easy enough? Now, shout out to all my rage goblin friends like you who don't understand that you have the issue that I'm going to bring up right now, and I call this person anger management. Because you are the person who, for whatever reason, and that's okay if you're not great with this one, but you're very tone deaf in your messages. You're also very prone to outbursts. And here's another goodie. When you get feedback that is not to your liking, you're going to emotionally respond back to that one. And my friend, please lean in for this one if this is your problem, okay? If you know that you come off rude, or if you have no idea that you come off rude, here's my greatest advice to you. Let's start off with when you get dissatisfactory feedback. Happens to me too. I'm really excited. I really like the way something came out. I'm really passionate about the way that I did it. And then I get that client that tells me, oh, well, that's not exactly what I pictured. Oh, I need it like this. Oh, I see that you added this on. Or, hey, I see that you did it like this, but actually I want to do it like that. And you know what my natural, professional, logical reaction to that is? Immediately, I can't respond. Because I'm like, what do you know, you peasant? Like, who are you to tell me what to do? That's stupid. Like, you came to me, bro. Why did you come to me and then tell me that I'm wrong? And I have this moment, but I don't have it with the client. I have it with myself. Okay. And so my general rule is that if somebody sends me dissatisfactory or even just annoying or laborious feedback, my first reaction is to not say anything for at least 2 hours, because I know at that point I'm in an emotional state. I don't have all my senses, and I'm not going to respond back professionally. Then I come back with it. Then I've also read it a couple times, at least 3 or 4 times by then, and I know how to respond. And I know how I can maybe negotiate it. And I know at that point, okay, I'm calmer now. I've had time to let this digest and assess what I actually need to do. And by that point, it's usually not that bad. By that point, I'm willing to accept it. By that point, I'm also in a better place in mind to go ahead and respond back to them. And then there's another thing that you're probably doing too, which is you're probably being very aggressive with your communications. Like if somebody reaches out to you and they're starting to say to you that like, hey, I love this character, and you respond back with, I need to know this. I need to know what the background is. I need you to tell me. If you're using the type of language that sounds like someone shouting at you, that's not effective. It's actually very aggressive, and it really severely degrades your power and authority level, okay? So check your anger management, because it doesn't belong in your DMs with your clients. Moving on, I want to let you know that I've had pretty much the biggest spectrum of experiences, both good and bad. Every once in a while, something throws me for a loop. And that kind of brings up the next issue and the next type of person I want to present to you. And it's the type of person who really has trouble accepting new things, new ways, and new methods, and then also getting over the fact that because you had some bad clients, not all clients are going to be bad and are not going to screw you. And I call this person the rigid noodle. And so this is the type of person who, based on their past experiences, is being very, very intolerant and also inflexible, where flexibility could be used. So let me just give you a few examples here. You might be the type of person who's like, oh my God, I've always used commission sheets, and therefore I can never sell without it. And so therefore I will always do this first because it works for me, and obviously there's no other way. That is being a rigid noodle. Or you might be like, well, I never have a conversation with a client, and so therefore every single time that they hit me up in the DM, I immediately toss out a price tag. Like I am completely desperate and that's all I know how to do. That's being a rigid noodle. Here's another thing too, is that every single time that a client gives you feedback, you immediately buck back against them. No, I don't want to do that. No, that's not going to look good. No, this is not going to happen because of X, Y, and Z, or because I've done these 3 things, therefore I cannot do that. And again, I think this has to do with how you're maybe presenting and maybe processing some of your past experiences with them. I've had some really, really terrible clients. I tell you all about them on my channel all the time. But every client is unique. Every client is different. And just to be real with you for a minute here, can you appreciate the fact that there is some stranger in the world that has come to you and paid you money and is now giving you the opportunity to work with them? Therefore, there's anxiety on both sides, and I really wish that more artists would sort of appreciate that because it does deserve it. Now, let's talk about one of the greatest offenders. And this is something that I used to do too before I learned better. And I call this person looking to get lucky, all right? Are you looking to get lucky? And what I mean by that is that every single time that you get a DM, you think, I am looking to get lucky on selling this work. Maybe I'll get lucky and this will be the one that will actually pay me. Maybe I'll get lucky and this will be my first client, or maybe I'll get lucky because I'm in a dry spell and this will be the one that will want to commit to me and start that momentum. Oh yeah, so you're excited. What does looking to get lucky do? You get a DM, you have 1 or 2 interactions, and usually by the 3rd, you've already tossed out a price. And what I want to warn you about, friend, is that that is the worst way for you to qualify yourself. It's the worst way for you to show that you have high status. It's the worst way for you to be in control. It's also the worst way for you to show yourself as an authority in your field. You're coming off and you're cheaping yourself like somebody that is a non-professional. And to let you know a much better way about doing all of this, go ahead and check out this video right here because I'll teach you the right way to talk to our clients. Thanks so much for watching this. If this helped you, please share with somebody that you know. See you next time.